Testing. All right. We are go. Hey everyone, we are back for another Reverse 1999 stream. Last stream, I kind of introduced the game. It's a gacha game with no real levels or searching. It is just visual novel style story. Gorgeous characters. By visual novel style story, I mean the way that you progress. And the story feels very much like a really complicated seinen adult story you'd see in anime or manga. And it involves a lot of time travel. That's where the reverse comes from. And the current story that we're going through, this Vereinsamt, I don't want to pronounce it, I'm terrible at it, is the anniversary story, which is why I decided I'd pick it up and try it out for streaming. I've been playing the game since it came out. It's very good, even though it has a much lower scope than Genshin Impact and Honkai Star Rail. The combat is still very good, and the story is still very good, and the events are still very good. So it's very worth paying attention to if that's what's important to you. So let's get rolling. We got a couple missions in, a couple story segments in. Let's see what we have here. A bunch of currency to get, which will be very useful when I want to spend it for leveling up Lucy. Well, I've already leveled up Lucy. This will be for leveling up other characters. 4 cross-checks. The first step is to reduce it to a quadratic equation without a cubic term. The second step, ugh, not this math. Four cross-checks. Storm arrives in 22 hours.
Damn, you narcissistic, fat-headed, humanocentrist freaks! You are the crazy ones, and I will prove myself right!
Seriously! Can someone please bring Matthew back to the rehab center? That mask has made him crazy!
The researcher's arms flail wildly as he stumbles across the shiny floor, adding more to the chaos. Amidst the mayhem, a bottle of alcohol in the bottle bursts into bright blue flames, and then 2 metal feet stomp across the floor without hesitation.
Any progress?
Not much. We've called all the experts here, but so far it's been a waste of time. Not even a bodily reaction when reciting the text. It doesn't belong to any known language, nor follow any linguistic rules. Many are starting to doubt the accuracy of the incantation. After all, it was copied down by a novice investigator with her arcane skill, not her supervisor.
Okay, so this was what was captured by Marcus in the French Revolution storyline, and the supervisor died facing off with one of the local people from the Foundation. He was also working with the Manus Vindictae. The spacious room is now packed with people. They're all gathered around a radio on the table.
Miss Marcus, can you confirm that the incantation you dictated was correct? We also learned that you witnessed a visual recording of Arcana performing her arcane skill, depicted through images recreated by a pure-blooded arcanist. Is that right?
Yes, to be precise, I saw it in the memories of Isolde, a former member of Manus Vindictae, using Miss Cacanya's arcane mirror.
Can you attest to the accuracy of this memory?
I can't say.
Do you deem the reflection of Miss Cacanya's arcane mirror to be accurate, factual, and without misinterpretation?
I'm not sure.
Can you confirm that your arcane skill, Read, was performed correctly and provided an unbiased, objective, and flawless interpretation?
I don't know about that either, but I I saw it with my own eyes. I heard the chanting. I don't know what language that was, but that's how I heard it, and I've written it down phonetically.
Please calm down. We are only verifying the details. The Foundation has dispatched a special operations squad to you in Vienna. Please make sure the 2 other arcanists involved will return to the Foundation with you.
I understood.
Call ends. The liaison removes the headset. The result is far from ideal. Her face is pale, as lifeless as her mechanical colleagues.
Is this it?
A sarcastic voice cuts through the air as a man pushes to the front.
An ancient miracle, a circle of salvation. Euna seco. Atuna psycho? An inexplicable incantation transcribed by an arcanist based on what she saw in the memory of another arcanist recreated by yet another arcanist. That's as convoluted as a dream within a dream within a dream. To think they wanted an objective restoration. I mean, if Gnosis is so reliable and can really cross-check not only once but 4 times, it should have long replaced science by now. With this level of uncertainty, we might have better luck asking typewriter monkeys to randomly give us the answer to the storm immunity.
Adler? Why are you here?
I requested his participation on the cryptography team. He is a human, but he excels in the field of cryptography.
But
The man takes a grim step forward.
And why can't I be here? Is it because Greta Hoffman's my sister? And is this what a respectable and honorable member of the Foundation gave her life to retrieve? Is this the ritual she died for? Oh, right. It wasn't even her who retrieved the ritual. It was a student.
You are not currently on the official roster. You can leave at any time.
Leave? Why should I leave? Ich habe jedes Recht zu wissen, wofür meine Schwester gestorben ist. Nun gut, Leute, an die Arbeit. Lasst uns dieses große Rätsel entschlüsseln und sehen, was es uns bringen wird. Erlösung oder Zerstörung?
He leaves sneering, waving the note with the phonetic spelling in his hand. The farce is finally over. The room is at peace again. The cryptography team turns to the robot awaiting her instructions.
Return to your stations, please. Let us not dismiss its credibility until we have exhausted every possibility. Also,
She calmly turns her head.
add Adler Hoffman into the cryptography team roster.
The cryptography lead hesitates for a moment, surprised. Nevertheless, he nods and quickly leaves the room.
Storm Observation and Research Center. Noted. I will make sure Miss Lucy is aware of that.
The liaison puts down the phone and turns to the robot, a flicker of panic on her face.
What is the matter?
It's a call from the rehab center about the previous study on the Manus mask. Ma'am, I think you should go see this in person.
Very good, Matthew. Now tell us, what did you hear?
The already narrow corridor is filled with security guards. The room their guard is heavily secured, isolated behind 3 layers of tempered glass. A patient sits in the room with the mask on his face.
Voices! Those voices! The inaudible murmurs, the frightening whispers, they worm into my ears. I've told you before. I wrote about this before, but you just missed the mesmeric episodes.
Did you put on the mask?
Yes. How else would I know that I was right? And now I know. And never ever heard them so clearly. They are screaming inside my head. Their temptations, their promises. I just have to let go of my brain. Can you hear it? The benevolent mother is speaking.
His nails dig deep into his palms, as if fighting an overwhelming impulse.
Now, I can write the ultimate paper!
Who is this mother?
She is answered by a loud crash. The researcher throws himself against the glass, gasping in horror and scratching helplessly at the surface.
No! I can't say anymore! They see me! They've come for me! Kill me! Kill me now!
It is too late to beg for mercy. His scream is abruptly silenced as his head explodes beyond the glass barrier. Amidst the splatter of blood and brain, a new being emerges from the remnants of his flesh. Wow. The alarm blares loudly. A Manus follower wriggles up from the bloody floor holding a triangle in hand. He lets out a loud cry, reminiscent of a newborn's first wail. This is something I haven't seen before. The liaison ends the call, cutting off the horrid sounds from the other end of the phone.
Suspend all research on the Madness Mask at once. Its dangers far outweigh the potential benefits. Seal away all equipment and share only a controlled account of the incident with others. We cannot afford to have another researcher try on the mask again. Now, clean this up.
Yes, ma'am.
The airlock door hisses open. A squad of armed guards storm into the room under the cover of sleeping gas. On the other side of the glass, the robot turns away from the scene, categorizing yet another set of Storm research data as irrelevant and filing it away as wasted in memory.
Another dead end.
Alright, we are hitting up mineral, so we want mineral damage, at least for our lead character doing damage. I have Getian on support. I have Tooth Fairy as my healer, and Pickles as another support if he's needed.
Dental checkup.
Now I move these around.
The bones will tell. The music will speak. This is not a mistake made by man. Pardon me.
You can increase the effects of the parts down here. By combining them together. If they're next to each other, they will combine. So if I use my healing from Tooth Fairy, these two will combine. All three of these have Getian's bird bones, so if I cast one of those, which I don't have out here right now, he'll launch his AoE attack. Really, I don't have any of his out, but I do have Jiu Nangzi's out. So
Another jar?
these,
It's newly made this year.
I smell the scent of mint oil.
There they are. Let's get it over quick. Ouch!
There's another one from Getian. Oh man, for extra follow-up attacks have almost killed him. She already has the anti-crit marker on him.
Coming!
Do her ultimate. Set that up. And
Another jar?
another.
I'll fill the cup for you. Ah!
Victory, the mother of arrogance.
To all members involved in the Storm research, Manus Vindictae masks are now considered extremely dangerous and have no research value. All related research and experimentation must cease immediately. In addition, if any members become irrationally agitated, display an abnormal hatred toward humanity, and believe they hear a soft, seductive female voice that is not there, nearby personnel should immediately evacuate the area and contact the nearest security officer. Vienna Investigations Operation Report for public record. News from the front lines. The esteemed Miss Greta Hoffman, a valiant fighter for human advancement, has tragically lost her life during a storm investigative mission. Investigator Marcus has successfully relayed vital information and is waiting for support on site. A special operations team has been dispatched post-haste. Please resume work status after reading this report and observing a 3-second moment of silence. Hoffman deceased. Marcus waiting for support. Examining the storm is a daunting task that requires careful consideration. That's why it's wise to collect and document every potential clue here for future reference. Alright. Yeah, and that just gives me each of the story mode progress rewards. Pride and Prejudice. I got this on, but I didn't properly start up my VTubing capture. An unknown incantation. A mask that has proven to be extremely dangerous. These are the only leads that they currently have on the storm. Her metallic fingers pick up another stack of files. These are the test results of the Manus mask, confirming the presence of asymmetrical nuclide R. The robot studies them carefully. The slit on her mask pulses in contemplation.
What is the status of the sampling, Simone? Any updates from the timekeeper?
For the moment, no. The people on the island are still suspicious of the Foundation's motives, so she hasn't had a second chance to collect any samples. But she has called in an hour ago. We were informed that she will return to the cave shortly. She also warned us that the immunity zone on the island appears to be shrinking. The safe zone is not stable.
The robot did not put on a face today. Simone can only read her mood from the narrow slit.
Mom, have you noticed something?
They are unrelated, Simone. The mask and the incantation are indeed related to Manus Vindictae, but they are unrelated to each other.
She moves the sealed Manus mask aside.
If the account of the Vienna investigator is correct, one cannot help but question, why would Arcana not simply give the masks to Isolde and her brother?
Investigator Marx's report was highly lacking, making it challenging for us to infer what truly happened.
I suppose we can be skeptical that the report is incomplete, but it is all we have for now. She did a good job. I could not have asked for more. We all heard it. An ancient miracle, a circle of salvation.
The robot extends her hand, drawing an imaginary circle in the air.
The leader of Manus Vindictae promised a miracle, but the mask is far from it. The mask is a tool of control, designed to identify and enslave the believers.
Hey,
Matthew has demonstrated its effects for us.
We're trying to do another reverse 1999 stream, seeing if we can make some serious progress on this. Probably stream something else tomorrow.
But this ritual is different.
So far, we came back to the Research Institute, and we had a researcher studying one of the Manus Vindictae's masks, which was kind of a pair of like weird hands that were dripping black stuff, and the mask caused him to hear weird things and go insane, and then he ripped himself apart and turned into a monster. It seemed like the monster came out of him more than he became the monster. And then they subdued the monster and removed all ideas of studying the mask as an option for solving their current problems. And right now they're discussing the connection between the mask and some other research that they found on a previous investigation as solutions to the storm instead.
Do you mean the ritual is more sophisticated than the mask?
The robot nods approvingly.
Perhaps, but it is not entirely definitive. The investigators in Vienna completed their mission spectacularly, and now Matthew has proven that the mask is useless for our purposes. Its immunity was only a cover for its other functions, and the mask has powerful and irreversible side effects. Even if we find out how it protects the wearer from the storm, we cannot use it on our colleagues.
She picks up the script.
If this incantation is verified to be true, it will be our Promethean fire.
In the cryptography team's office.
This ritual is useless to us.
Also, this guy is apparently the brother of one of the researchers who died getting this ritual formula in a previous story. He is not an arcanist, but he is the brother to one, I guess. And they pulled him in as he has extensive knowledge of cryptography, I guess demonstrated by this weird device he has on his shoulder.
Save yourself this trouble. We're not getting anywhere with this.
What?
The room is cluttered with all sorts of sophisticated equipment. The floor is littered with scrap paper. The researchers haven't lifted their heads or taken a break for quite some time. The cryptography lead stares at Enigma, a fresh cup of coffee in his hand. His patience is wearing thin as the metaphorical string labeled tolerance in his mind is finally about to snap.
Explain yourself, Adler. What do you mean the ritual is useless? You barely sat down. My coffee's still hot.
The cryptographer solemnly hands the stack of papers from his desk.
I don't need to waste any more time. It's simple logic. The current information is insufficient for cryptographic decryption. We're attempting an exhaustive brute force comparing every ancient text and record to find the language or corresponding text. It's like looking for a needle in a colossal haystack. Even if we stumble onto a match, none of us can validate such a thing. A breakthrough in this regard is simply not possible.
You can't be serious.
Across the room, a man stands up abruptly from his chair, clutching a pen in his hand.
And what is the basis of your reasoning? Have you figured out the mechanics behind the ritual?
I didn't need to understand the intricacies of Arcanum to deduce this. It was simple logic.
So you never even tried to understand it. With your supposedly superior human reasoning, you dismissed all of our dedication and hard work just like that. Who the f do you think you are?
Well, he's an expert in cryptography. Before anyone can react, the researcher lunges at Enigma and punches him right in the face.
What?
Enigma brings a hand up to his cheek, looking more confused than angry.
Matthew was right. You arrogant fools, clueless moron! Get out of my face, you humanocentric narcissist! Go to hell!
The researcher snarls, brandishing his pen like a soldier brandishing a dagger. Oh, this guy might have some of the, Manus Vindictae effects. Much to his frustration, his spring loses power midair, another casualty of the neck and shoulder pain that plagues this office. Enigma narrowly avoids the attack, rewarded by the turn of events.
Was this really necessary? I was just sharing my conclusion.
Oh, it was the mask. I should have thought of that. He worked in the same lab as Matthew, and he must have been exposed to the mask.
But his physical exam seemed fine. Is there an incubation period?
Does he seem fine to you now? Huh? No! Williams, put that down! That's the only Conway Automaton 5 left after the storm.
He is met with a guttural growl, followed by the deafening crash of metal against a wall. The machine whizzes past his head and shatters to pieces on impact. Ouch. The cryptography lead can feel his sanity teetering on the brink. He staggers toward the door, frantically smacking the big red button on the wall.
Security! Security! We've got a code red!
Alright, and it doesn't really matter what my team is. I am itching to use some Melania.
Nothing unexpected. For now.
She's also pretty good single target.
I will remember your sacrifice.
The bones will tell.
Keep up the pace.
This is not a mistake made by men.
Hand failed.
Let's take this one.
I admire your courage.
The music will speak.
Sharp thing. Cheer up.
So this is how they represent the guy in the suit. Alright, if I combine that, that, or I bet I can only have the song on one person at once. That's it.
I will remember your sacrifice. I admire your courage. For you and for us. Heart scale.
Yeah, that's it.
No matter.
Okay, that makes sense. Alright, I am going to...
We share the same
song.
dream. We share the same dream. Plan A.
Activate Melania. And
The bones will
make sure
tell.
that his buff stays
To a
up.
brighter future for everyone.
Careful. Not right.
How does this work again? I can do that later.
The show's on, hounds.
Give her another one.
Plan A. Wait for 5 seconds. Time waits for no one, even for a great thing.
And build would be enough to take him out. That was a ton of damage.
An unconventional choice.
Yeah, that was plenty.
Whew, that went smooth.
Exactly.
So, what are the implications for the decryption?
There were no unintended consequences. We were able to control Williams in time, and the Conway Automaton 5 he destroyed wasn't useful to our work anyway.
I am glad you kept the damages to a minimum.
Lucy turns off the screen in front of her and turns around.
Since you are still here, Mr. Ulrich, I take it as a sign that you have more to report?
In a secluded area of the hallway, an emotionally charged complaint is about to take place. The cryptography lead tries to keep his voice low, looking completely disheveled from the turmoil he has just endured.
Williams was merely an accident, ma'am, but Adler is a loose cannon on the team. We need to talk about this. With all due respect, I still don't understand why you put him on the team. He may have made his contributions to Laplace, but that was 8 years ago. Now he's just an irritating defeatist and a staunch supporter of humanocentrism.
Every particle of ferrofluid in his helmet is vibrating with rage, his voice rising involuntarily.
He never understood the Arcanum, or tried. He's still stuck in the time before the first storm and refuses to acknowledge that his small, beautiful world is gone. How can someone like that help us?
The robot senses his doubt and frustration. There may be more sentiments and underlying issues at play. She pauses for a moment before answering, as if deep in thought.
I understand your concern, but I have not heard anything about the incapacitation of Adler Hoffman.
What? He got a few scratches at most. The guy barely touched him.
So he is fine. I am glad we agree. Is there anything else you would like to report?
He's frustrated. The robot waits 5 seconds for an answer, but there isn't one. This must be the social cue that it is her turn to speak.
His lack of knowledge on Arcanum is exactly why we need him. His human perspective will offer valuable insights on arcane rituals. The results of this study will not only be used to save Arcanists, but also humans who share the same world with us.
The cryptography lead tries to argue further, but Lucy is certain the issue has been sufficiently addressed.
We are racing against the clock, mister, and your report on personal disputes and racial conflicts has wasted 2 minutes and 37 seconds of our time.
Ouch.
If he refuses to cooperate, you have every right to remove him from the team. That is your responsibility. Oh.
From the other end of the corridor, the subject of their argument approaches, looking deeply upset and clutching a stack of papers. Clearly, he had heard every word they just said.
I am relieved that you survived your altercation. What would you like to report?
They're frustrated. Their eyes meet, making both of them squirm uncomfortably. This is undoubtedly one of the most awkward moments in both of their careers. After a prolonged silence, Ulrich steps back and walks away. Without even looking at him, Enigma begins his report in a low voice.
I'm fed up with wasting time, ma'am. The setback with the mask has already driven too many people insane. That's why you should take a look at this.
He hands the stack of files to Lucy.
I can logically deduce that our current direction is another dead end. The incantation isn't long enough for cryptographic decryption. We will have to turn to ancient records. Perhaps we'll find something in age-old manuscripts, in tablet inscriptions, or in the memories of powerful arcanists. But even if we find it, we can't validate it because none of us can cast the skill.
The robot remains silent during his pessimistic remarks, flipping through each page of the file.
Low-ranking arcanists can't cast high-ranking skills, even if they know the exact pronunciation and meaning of the incantation. Gnosis is beyond reason like that and cannot be debated. It stems from raw intuition rather than logic and intellect, is shaped by personal experience and natural abilities, and cannot be intentionally replicated. And the most determining factor, it relies on the arcanist's purity of blood. The miracle ritual you hold such hopes for belongs to the leader of Manus Vindictae, a pure-blooded arcanist whose power is beyond our imagination. It's like asking a toddler to solve Goldbach's conjecture. It's completely beyond the boundaries of our limits.
But you are not an arcanist. Why should you play by their rules?
The man is taken aback by her question. It's something he's never considered before.
You are right. Arcanists differ due to their purity of blood. Researcher Medicine Pocket has already reported the linear correlation between the bloodline of an arcanist and their abilities, and has drawn a conclusion 10 times more extreme.
then you should listen. That's their area of expertise.
Her neck moves subtly, almost like shaking her head.
We know that our cryptographers do not have the power to validate the ritual, and we do not expect you to do that. All I ask of you is to come up with a feasible plan and to do it as a team.
Enigma turns away, repulsed at the mention of team. Lucy finishes reading the report and hands it back to him.
Your deduction is logical, but not practical or actionable, so I should return this to you.
What?
The glow in her slit is strangely reassuring, almost like a smile. She looks out the window.
Your logic is impressive, Adler, but do not let it limit your thinking. You spoke of the boundaries of arcane power, but logic has its limits too, no? Knowledge can be obtained through various means, such as intuition, logical reasoning, empirical observations, and teachings from others. Your team is not the only one cracking the ritual through their own means. If you fail, we will turn to the others, and if that approach is wrong, we will try another. If no solution is found before the storm, we will simply wait for the next one. What matters is we keep moving forward, no matter the cost. We must keep to the path, or we will be swept away like dust in the rain.
Wow. For once, the researcher does not argue. He whispers, as if talking to himself. If one team
fails, you can still turn to the others. Warum denn? Warum musste es Greta sein?
What?
Forget it. Just a bitter, irrational thought. This marks the end of my efforts. Hopefully, the others will bring you the needed breakthroughs.
The man walks away in anger. But after only a few steps, a question comes to mind.
You've been waiting here for a while. Are you expecting someone? You aren't the type to waste time listening to us whine. So there must be something here worthy of your attention. Is someone close to a breakthrough?
Nothing of the sort. I am recharging. We have a public power outlet here.
She moves her joints, as if standing for so long has stiffened her body.
But I am indeed waiting. The doves of the Whitestone House are here.
The sound of flapping wings fills the air. The researcher is astonished as the creature, with a texture similar to plaster, perches on her metal finger.
Good. Someone closer to the limit has given us aid.
Investigator Marcus, originally from Romania and conversant in several languages including German and English, has determined that the pronunciation of the spell does not belong to any language she knows and has therefore provided the spell as a phonetic transcription. Cut out English, German, French, Romanian, Spanish, Chinese, Russian, and Polish. Quite the language, quite the collection for a very young researcher. Suggestion from Adler, a tuna psycho. All incorrect. Missing critical information? Was it from a rare language or a dead language?
Be ever so careful, dear. The fiery thirst for knowledge is blazing bright within you. Be careful not to put it out. Once, many fire thieves sat here, sipping coffee, as they tried to decipher the best angle to hold up their reeds, to jam the burning wheel of Helios and steal his flame. The gods are selfish. They're stingy with their might.
Shouldn't the gods be more generous?
That's easy to say when the power's not yours to give. Knowing how to share is a rare virtue. Knowing how to share knowledge is a rarer virtue still.
Agreed.
How can we transfer our wisdom into mortal minds? The gods pondered. Can inspiration be duplicated from one brain to another? It comes and goes like a gust of wind. So, what can be done?
Sounds like a twist to the story is coming.
Not yet, darling. We've only finished the prologue. However, there is a but waiting down the road. A sudden rain dampened people's enthusiasm for the future. The floppy disks and many clever minds perished in it. Some of the fire thieves grieved the loss. They screamed and swore to retrieve what was lost. What about the rest of them? They returned to primitive chaos, like coelacanths crawling back into the ocean after thousands of years of evolution. Once again, they became the protégés of Arcanum. Perhaps they made the right choice by leaving that useless science behind. Who knows?
Who knows?
The story of the fire thieves has only gone this far, darling. At this point, no one knows what will happen to Prometheus or what's inside Pandora's box.
Alright, complete. Maze of the Minotaur. A nifty little fellow, the crystallization of tangible wisdom. Equipment failure repair record. Conway Automaton 5, also known as Life Game 5. It is the most popular mind expansion tool in the class, capable of simulating cell life and death calculations within a maximum of 2 to the 16th pixels with predefined rules and supporting modular assembly and custom interfaces, among other features. It has been proven to maintain the mental agility of researchers and can simulate most current popular games. Almost all Conway automatons were lost in the storm or scrapped to make room for more important instruments. This is the last remaining one in the Scientific Computing Center. Although the Conway Automaton 5 cannot play a practical role in password encryption, to ensure the enthusiasm of the decryption team's work, an urgent repair request is hereby made. If the repairs cannot be completed in a short period of time, it is hoped that a substitute can be allowed during the repair period, such as the latest handheld console, the Game Dude Color. Game Dude, I like that. Maze of the Minotaur. Which is probably back to our Greek society.
Any news from Zeno?
They are moving as planned. The deployment will be complete within 2 hours. What about Arcana?
Same old, standing still on the rock as if she's a part of it. Soaking up the salt in the wind, I guess.
Sonetto fiddles with the communication device, making sure Lilia's voice is loud and clear. Now Regulus can hear their exchange with perfect clarity.
She's found herself a good spot, overlooking all of us from up there. The center of the island where the number people are heading. The entrance to the cave where Vertin and 37 are going. And the beaches in the storm. Nothing escapes her sight.
Impressive! Maybe she's planning her escape.
Is she also going to swim? Huh. It seems like we're in for a swimming competition. Speaking of which, it would be nice if those tortoise slowpokes could swim a little faster.
She hangs up and resumes surveillance of her target. The next 2 hours are critical. The islanders are busy with the cleansing ceremony, while the outsiders are preparing for their departure.
Look, Sonetto, I understand your plan now, but I still can't shake off a bad feeling about all this.
Don't worry, Regulus. We have gone over this many times. The margin of error should be below 0.00025%. I'm confident that it will work.
That's pretty low.
I know. Spare me with the numbers. I know I can rely on you.
She waves her hand quickly, as if swatting away the numbers like flies.
I'm still worried about Vertin. Will she make it back in 2 hours? If she doesn't come back in time, who's going to take charge and guide us? We'll have to steer our own course, won't we?
Yes.
Soneto nods.
Laplace is gathering every piece of information they can find on the storm. The discovery of the asymmetrical nuclide R was already a remarkable breakthrough. It would help the immunity research a lot if the timekeeper could find something useful in that cave.
The pirate is not satisfied with the answer. Evidently, she has a strong opinion on the matter.
I don't think she's going to have a lovely time there, judging by what happened to me last time.
Having spent the longest time there, she's undoubtedly the most qualified to comment on the subject.
Is it just me, or do you also find this a bit fishy? The dangers aside, using an answer as a reward? What? Is this deity some sort of answering machine?
In fact, Apeiron is a philosophical concept introduced by the ancient Greek philosopher Anaximander, which means the origin of everything.
Oh.
It is the physical manifestation of the boundless, the indeterminate, and the infinite. Everything arises from it and returns to it.
Oh.
But it appears to serve a more practical purpose for the believers on this island.
Miss Marta told me about this. There are limits to the knowledge one can acquire, even when using numbers, which are considered closest to the essence. But Apeiron is a boundless, limitless existence. If we wish to seek knowledge beyond our own limitations, we must turn to it for help.
She faithfully recites what she learned from the teachings of Apeiron. Apple adjusts his bow tie, grateful for her contribution.
To the best of this Apple's recollection, the more ancient, abstract, and intangible an entity is, the more likely it possesses arcane powers beyond our fathom. By communing with the supreme existences through sympathetic magic, worshippers could gain the guidance of their transcendental gnosis. They would, of course, exact a price from the worshippers as well.
Oh?
Price?
Just as hearing the word makes your heart sink.
Could you be more specific on that, Mr. Apple? What's the price? Lives or something else?
Vertin! Jump over here!
Underground. Labyrinth in the island.
Very good! Now you are on number 1. And you should jump to 7. This is a 4x4 magic square. You just need to make sure every 4 steps you take adds up to 34.
4, 34. Is this rule 34? No. Howling fills the air. The unstable footing is the only solid thing they can rely on. The path into the cave is completely different than before. The transparent stairs are gone, as are the swirling golden lines in the air. Now only cold rock walls surround them, and swirling numbered bricks lie beneath their feet. It's a game of hopscotch unlike any other.
I don't understand 37. This place was different the last time we were here.
It has changed because the test has begun. The path to new knowledge is always harder than verifying a known result. Don't worry. This is like a labyrinth with a minotaur. There is always a way to the center.
But weren't those labyrinth walkers offerings to the Minotaur?
Unfortunately, she doesn't seem to care or be concerned at all.
Now we're going to solve the magic square. Vertin, the next number is 10.
Whoosh! The world turns around them, a space is revealed. As the magic square is solved, the maze shifts once more.
Oh no! It turned into a magic circle! We have to calculate again! This one's easy. The sum of the numbers on each circle should be equal to the sum of the numbers on its diameter plus the number in the middle. We're just going from a square to a circle. It's not that difficult. You are now on 32. We need to find 17 or 21.
I am having a lot of trouble following what she's saying. Completely absorbed in solving her puzzle, she doesn't notice what's coming up behind her. A geometric figure with the number 21 hurtles towards her. For a moment, she thought she heard it chuckle.
Careful, 37. The numbers are coming to life. We need to put them back in place.
Alright, looking for a plant team. And I do definitely have a solid plant team. Here we go.
Hey, hello there.
What? Are you making fun of my name?
White shell, pencil-like forelimbs.
Oh.
Ah! It deflected my arcane skill!
Oh, she's so grumpy.
Burton, it's no use attacking 21. Just focus on 9 and 33 instead. Start with the number that has the largest absolute value. 33.
Find that together.
Whose heart is beating so loud?
Shh! I hear something. Talking out calms people down.
Agents have guns. It's called common sense.
Now that those are out, here, let's combine those all together.
What's that? What's your race? Be serious. Stay focused. Go!
Great. One of them is taken out. Now what happens to those? Another one is 33. Okay, this debuff is gone.
Whose heart is beating so loud?
Let's get some healing out.
What's this?
I need it, but still, and hit him with this.
What's your race?
Hopefully to finish
Talking
the
out calms people down. The ingredient store owner said it was very effective. Please believe me.
Boy, that little healing helped a bit.
I hear something. Be serious. We should listen to what people say.
AoE attacks to hopefully take them both out. Oh, there they go.
Come on, stand up. There's one around.
Did that open up the door? The ground ceases to shake and everything comes to a standstill once again. The numbers have returned to their original positions. 37 breezes past with a cheerful smile, making a beeline for the exit.
Like I said, it's not that big of a deal.
She stops. Before the gate stands a familiar figure.
I thought the next question would be the Ford Circle, the Monster Group, or Hilbert's Infinite Grand Hotel. I never thought it would be 6. Hello, 6. Are you the real thing?
Yes, I'm the real 6.
I wouldn't be so sure. When it comes to the essence, we are all shadows cast on a wall by a flickering fire. How do you know you're the real 6?
That was too much to take in. Even 37 can't help but step back.
Did you just smile? Now I very much doubt that you're real.
I didn't. And I am the true 6. This gate has always been guarded by a 6.
The leader reverts back to a blank expression. 37 doesn't seem too thrilled to see her friend here.
I have a bad feeling about this. I think the question we're about to answer will be very simple. It's just a formality, isn't it? You'll ask a question and let us through. I've seen you do that on other tests before.
Formality is also important.
No, only the essence is important. Only the forms are important.
6 shakes his head, showing no inclination to continue the debate.
This is a question about the essence and forms, 37. Please pay heed to it. As for Miss Vertin, we only expect you to lend a patient ear.
Very well.
37 looks at 6 with determination, the same look she had when she faced that challenge in the game of Kodabos. She's confident that she can solve any problems that comes her way.
37. If your pursuit of truth were to lead to the destruction of your faith and beliefs, would you still keep going?
What?
She exclaims involuntarily.
What kind of question is that?
Ouch. So, her people are kind of obsessive about their numbers, and like Lucy was saying earlier, all numbers and systems have their limits, including numbers. The oracles at Delphi. People don't believe maxims, they just think they're the exception.
If my pursuit of truth will be the destruction of my beliefs...
She shakes her head repeatedly, looking more perplexed than when she checked the Manus followers' math homework.
I came for the truth, and my faith is the truth. Why would the truth be destroyed by the truth? If it's because I did the calculation wrong, I'll go back and do it again, and next time, I will do better.
An answer without hesitation, causing the gatekeeper to pause for an extra moment of silence.
What if the essence of truth is there is no truth?
Isn't that also a form of the truth? Its non-existence is an answer in itself, is it not? You're speaking like 210. Are you really 6?
37 has clearly run out of patience with the sophistry. She stares at 6 in annoyance, trying to detect any sign on his face that he might be playing a joke on her. He isn't, but...
I should be more specific. You may see it as another allegory. A gate stands before you. Open it, and you will find the truth you seek. But at the same time, the world as you know it will crumble. Will you still open it?
37 blinks. This time, her answer is even more clear and resolute.
Yes. If my world changes because the truth is revealed, doesn't that mean my previous understanding was wrong and should be corrected? If what's behind the gate is really the truth, why would I give up the truth for falsehood?
I see. You've passed. As a reward, I will bestow upon you this sacred ritual. It will bridge the gap between you and the Supreme Existence during communion.
A gilded scroll is presented to her, but the winner only furrows her brows even harder.
Was that it? You didn't even ask a question that posed a real challenge. See, Vertin? I knew this was just a formality.
Vertin?
No, 37. I think this question...
37.
6 interjects.
There are some words I'd like to share with you. Not as 6, but myself, who used to live under the name Atticus. We know the story of Socrates' life, how truth and politics are at odds with each other. Either be wise, uninvolved, and look on, or be practical, involved, and suffer. I hope you will remember your answer when the defining moment comes for you.
He leaves. The game has been a disappointment. 37 frowns in frustration, but she keeps a tight grip on the scroll. The gate in the center of the circle has swung open, but the path ahead is still shrouded in mist.
We should go, Vertin. There's a long way ahead. I hope the next question will be more fun.
Yeah. Lania. And
I'm no master of a teamwork.
The puppy wishes to come along.
Yes! And the same combination as 37. But sadly, you're the 21st prime number, which makes you less than perfect. Vertin, let's start with
73, because it has the largest absolute value.
Nice choice, Vertin. You are a quick learner.
alright, I am going to...
I admire your courage.
Let's see... 2 rounds. Well... she's not gonna get on anything on her for a round or 2. So it's
I will remember your sacrifice.
Sharp fang.
Alright, now drop these on the dog.
The puppy agreed with your decision.
He'll be ready for that, and... I'm ready to merge up Melania a ton. So...
I admire your courage.
That should be enough to give her and another healing. No. Save that for later. Okay. Oh, now I can do it.
I will remember your sacrifice. For you, Emperor.
The plan failed.
Oh, I thought. Look at this again. For every... So he gains Moxie +1. So she'll have it soon.
We share the same dream. To a brighter future for everyone.
Alright, she goes.
The show's on,
hits him,
hounds.
gives her another boost.
Pansy. Wait for 5 seconds. Time waits for no one, even for a great thing.
He's got to be destroyed by that.
It's okay. 3, 2, 1, down.
And that should be enough to do. Perfect.
The plan failed. The show's on, hounds. Pansy. Plan A.
Another one of these
Time
right
waits for
after.
no one, even for a great thing. A mice pass.
That one wasn't charged up as much as far as the. And let's go again.
The show's on, hound. Pansy. Plan
She
A.
can steal it from him.
Time waits for no one, even for a great thing.
Awesome. Well, that was definitely
That
Millennium
one's smooth.
relevant.
Exactly.
3 bursts and 3 turns.
Nothing I haven't expected so far. Just like what Mom told me. They're just games, like skipping rocks, katabos, and hopscotch. I've always been good at games. Look, there's the gate, Vertin. We're almost at the end.
37 claps her hands with satisfaction, having resolved yet another obstacle. But her companion is much more pensive.
What's the matter, Vertin? You've been quiet since we met 6, but you're number 0, not 6. You have no common factor with him.
No. I'm only thinking, what's the question you're going to ask? We've only got one chance.
The most important question of all, of course.
About the essence of the emanation, right?
It was not a hard guess. The islanders devote their lives to the study and service of the essence. Nothing is more important than this question. The essence reveals the ultimate truth that underlies all existence. Everything else is just fragments of the phenomenal world. It might not directly solve the issue of the storm immunity, but knowing its nature will certainly help with that aspect. And it's the key to solving not just one problem, but many others.
Well, the essence of it is important. But one day, we will eventually come to understand it. Even if we leave it alone for now, it will still be there. Yes?
I think so.
She seems to have something else in mind.
I can't stop thinking about Regulus. Despite being so close to the answer, she turned back in the cave, determined to earn the answer rather than receive it on a silver platter. It's like covering your ears in front of the oracles at Delphi. How typical of an irrational number. But she was also right, wasn't she? None of the precepts forbids one from doing so. People like her may fall behind or get distracted along the way, learning at a slower pace. But in the end, we will all converge. It doesn't matter if some arrive sooner than others.
So, are you going to ask something else?
This time she nods.
Yes, I have come up with a better question. A question that will solve all our problems once and for all, and free everyone from the emanation. It's not as profound as my first question, but it's an equally good one.
I see. I will stop here then.
Huh?
She turns around, eyes wide with surprise.
Vertin, are you turning back like Regulus? But you're a zero. You're not an irrational.
No, I won't go far. I will wait for you here. This is your gate to open. It is your question, your answer. I will stay here and watch over you. If you encounter any danger in there, I will come to your aid at once.
But don't you also have a question to ask Aperon? Aren't your doubts unresolved?
No, I don't need to ask anymore. The question you're going to ask, the one that will free us all from the emanation, is exactly the question I want to ask, 37.
37 tilts her head curiously, but her confusion soon fades. She quickly understands, as she does with most things in life.
I see. So you're choosing to be the one who looks on, like the third kind of men in the Olympic Games. A choice of insight, most appropriate for the number 0.
Without further hesitation, she turns and steps into the final gate.
In that case, I will see you later then, Vertin.
See you soon, 37.
Put the suitcase down and be ready for anything.
Will this really be the collapse of her world as she knew it? Like Six said, if that happens, I'll be here to hold the umbrella for her.
Suitable to switch perspectives. That's a good cliffhanger for 37. Outside the limits. Unspeakable. Indescribable. Untouchable. Unsurpassable. The cave is basked in warm, flickering candlelight. Preparations for the cleansing ceremony are finally complete. The integers are waiting for their leader to return.
Do you think 37 is going to make it?
888 lowers her voice, concealing her worry.
Who knows?
Leaning against the cavern wall, 210 absent-mindedly adjusts the grapevine on his hair out of boredom.
6 should be the easiest one to pass. The math puzzles in the labyrinth shouldn't be a problem for our little star either. The only tricky question is from Aperon, and no one knows what it will be. It is a fair game. Answer Aperon's question and it will answer yours. But if you give the wrong answer, oops.
He pinches a grape between his fingers and crushes it, its juice splattering onto his hand.
It'll hardly be a graceful end.
You are gross.
888 shakes her head, not even bothering to hide her disgust.
We know little about the test. The last person to pass the test was 300 years ago. The price of failure was high. For the longest time, the Sixers forbade people from risking their lives for it.
Well, 6 lied. Someone passed the test 4 years ago.
An unexpected piece of information. Even 210 straightens up in attention. The Banshee gazes into the distance, watching the shadows cast by candles dance on the walls.
The two of them are so much alike. Their talents, their mindsets, even their first thoughts when facing an impossible challenge. It is an irresistible temptation indeed, with a path to all truths right in front of you, just within reach. Who wouldn't want to give it a try?
All truths, huh? Kind of reminds me of the Tree of Knowledge in the Bible. Amid the swirling lights and shadows, the trial is reaching its conclusion. She has reached the heart of the maze, the lair of the Minotaur, where the final challenge awaits. Though through the mist, a form gradually takes shape. First it appears to be a scholar, then a soldier, but it continues to transform into a king, a farmer, a child, an elder. Finally, it stops and solidifies into a young woman with a sharp and chilling smile.
Mama, how are you here?
A soft chuckle slips out from the shadow.
No, I'm not who you think I am, child. I'm but a shadow, a flicker of fire, a projection before you. The finite cannot comprehend the infinite. Your limited senses cannot imagine what you've never seen, nor fathom what you've never heard. I am the answer to your desperate prayers. I am the blindfold before you see daylight. I'm the reflection of your confused, hollow faces in the water. I am the lingering echo of the last visitor.
But you look just like Mama.
Maybe she was the last visitor. Eagerly, 37 steps forward.
This is the last obstacle of the test. The gate of truth is just ahead, right? And here you are, standing in front of me. Does that mean that you finally reached the transcendental realm? So my conjecture was right, and our model did not fail, correct?
The transcendental realm?
The woman's laugh is strange and unsettling.
You speak adorable nonsense, my dear daughter. Did you really believe what I said? You silly little goose.
37 stops in her tracks and lifts her head in disbelief. She locks eyes with those aquamarine eye orbs that are unmistakably her mother's eyes.
Have you not doubted, even for a moment? You did. You wavered when you strolled the shores at night, when you inevitably gazed at the geometric bodies. If they really are manifestations of the transcendental world, why can't I find Mama's number in the broken pieces? You thought. Why can't I hear her voice? Why can't I see their patterns? The darkness blinds me. I miss you, Mama. Oh, my poor, sweet daughter. You are too young and naive. Too attached to what is familiar and too trusting of your teachings. You should have continued doubting instead of following my outdated footsteps. Was the conjecture wrong? Was the model correct? It does not matter, child. The rules of the game have changed. The Chaos Makers, the Fearmongers, and the Rule Shapers, they have already outpaced us. We were not wrong. We simply fell behind. We were blinded by the dream of the transcendental realm and could not see through reality. But worry not, my daughter. You have made it here, and that is all that matters. We will do the calculations together. This time, the results will be more accurate than ever.
Mama!
With a gentle smile, the woman tucks her hair behind her ears and reaches out a hand to the girl.
This world is an enormous wasteland, 37. Look at the creations in it. The congested, silent herds that scurry to and fro in their meaningless lives. Never have they looked at the stars above, nor bent to smell the flowers. The melodies of the patterns above go unheard by them, their souls unresonant to their wisdom. They are the prisoners of their bodies, complacent in their dulled senses, and conceited over their success of ruling the planet through violence and bloodshed. They mocked us, shunned us, and slaughtered us. They discriminated against us throughout the ages, branded us as lunatics, and spat on what we held dear. But we never gave up once. We were never truly defeated.
One day, they will be proven wrong, and they will be forced to admit it. My daughter, my precious little pearl, come to me, back in your mother's arms. Let us return to a time before disputes and disasters, when it was just you and me wandering the boundless beach. I will share with you the infinite secrets of this world, the essence of all things, and the truth that transcends everything. That's what you came for, yes?
Her eyes are earnest and sincere. 37 slowly climbs the stairs, longing to reach out and grasp her mother's hands. She suddenly looks up, confused, and asks a question.
But Mama, I am 37, not infinity. Why would I want an infinite number of secrets?
The ground is shaking. Did she give the wrong answer?
The cavern's illusory landscape shifts again. A fierce wind abruptly rises around her. Amidst the howling gale, 37 looks defiantly up into the air, her eyes peering past her mother's silhouette.
I don't long for the infinite secrets, for it is not within the scope of my number. I know who I am. I am only 37, a finite number, a pebble in the sand. The tides could wash over me, engulf me, and crush me at any moment. Even so, I am glad to be 37, for I know my limits. I know my boundaries. A concept whose supreme existences cannot even fathom.
Her mother's shadow shatters, the shards shimmering and pulsing in the air as if they were alive. The wind picks up, whipping her hair around and forcing her to narrow her eyes against the ground. But she stands her ground, refusing to yield.
Apeiron, the Boundless One, I am here for a simple question. How can we escape the darkness of the phenomenal world and be free from the emanation forever?
Her voice disappears into the wind, like a pebble sinking into the pond. But then the ripples echo back. Wow, that's freaky. Incomprehensible sounds assault her ears, like ancient echoes arising from the depths of the ocean. They aren't recognizable syllables of any language, but more like reverberations between layers of rock walls, each note stabbing through her like a dagger. Her breathing becomes labored and blood trickles from her nose. Dizziness churns in her head, causing her vision to blur and double.
How? Is it because it's outside of our limits too?
Make way! Move!
Madam Lucy, we have the right pronunciation. The script you gave me was correct. This is the arcane language of the incantation. Where did you get it?
Very well. Give it to me. Inform all research teams that we are moving on to the next phase of the project.
Swift and sure footsteps stride past glass-walled rooms, stopping at the main control room of the Storm Observation and Research Initiative. The control station is bustling with activity as liaisons send messages through electrical signals and pneumatic tubes to various offices, all part of a well-oiled routine. Enigma is here too.
If you're here to check on the progress, there is none.
This is the
I'm
trailer.
afraid you'll leave disappointed, Madam Lucy.
The robot hardly notices the mockery in his tone. She approaches one of the liaisons and holds out her hand. In her palm is the script brought by the dove.
Send this to everyone. It has been verified. This is the correct pronunciation of the immunity ritual.
This is...
His hands tremble. Despite its size, the tiny slip of paper holds great importance. Following the pronunciation guidelines, he carefully spells out the first word.
La Unwa.
The script is taken from his grasp. Standing next to him, the liaison holds the script in her hand, also trembling with excitement.
We must share this with everyone!
She trots over to the control station. The script is transposed onto the screen. The liaison meticulously checks every detail, ensuring that nothing is overlooked.
La unua circlo.
She reads into the microphone, her voice confident and clear. With a final press of the send button, she turns away with a satisfied smile on her face.
Help!
Without warning, her torso cracks apart and her entire form crumbles, shattering to the ground in pieces.
What was that?
All hell breaks loose. Chairs scrape wildly against the floor, coffee cups clatter to the ground, and people scramble about in a frenzy. The director of Laplace remains still, her eyes fixed on the rapidly flashing lights on the screen.
Stop the transmission! The ritual is wrong!
Lucy. She pauses, and in the face of chaos and turmoil, falls on someone to step up and take action.
No. The incantation is indeed correct.
Wow. It is going to take 6 or Vert to say it? Someone special. Return to the Earth.
What is going on?
In other glass-walled rooms, researchers look up from their work in confusion. The airlock doors have been sealed tight, and their electronic equipment is flashing erratically.
Warning. Warning.
At the same time, all of their screens light up simultaneously, indicating the arrival of a new message.
Hey Dawkins, forget the outside. Come look at this. Some guys cracked it. They found the correct pronunciation.
For real? They better be serious if this is some kind of prank.
Despite the blaring alarms, the staff gathers around their screens, eagerly reading aloud the incantation that was just sent.
La una circlo? Damn it! Damn it!
He runs down the corridor at full speed, grasping for air. Just as the airlock doors begin to close, he flings himself through. The closest room with glass walls is filled with thick white smoke. He sprints to the door and frantically pounds on it.
Ulrich! Dawkins! Victor! Ricard! Are you in there? Listen, if you receive the pronunciation of the incantation, do not recite it. Do not write it down. Do not pass it on. I know we've had our differences, but you have to trust me. I'm trying to save you.
A chilling silence looms on the opposite side of the door. The only noise that can be heard is Lucy's emotionless voice coming through the speakers.
Warning. Warning. All personnel stay away from their communication terminals. Do not recite any messages on the screen. Repeat. Do not recite the incantation. Do not recite the incantation. Do not recite...
The door suddenly opens. The smoke pouring out nearly chokes him.
Richard?
A cryptography emerges from the thick smoke, his movements stiff and his face expressionless. As he opens his mouth to speak, a small crack forms at the corner of his lips and quickly spreads across his entire face as if he were made of clay. Suddenly he collapses, his skin splintering and cracking like parched earth.
Richard!
A Enigma quickly moves to support him, preventing his colleague from breaking into pieces on the hard floor. He checks his vitals, still alive, only his skin has been affected by the mutation. Underneath the cracked exterior, he can still see human flesh and blood.
Don't speak. We're going to the rehab center.
No, you go, Dawkins.
Lifting a muddy finger, he manages to point toward the room. Slowly, a monumental figure emerges from the hazy entrance. It is a mud golem, with thick clumps of mud dripping off its body. The only remaining human element is Dawkins' nameplate, barely clinging to its chest.
Dawkins? No, no, no!
The airlock door at the end of the hallway hisses open. A squad of security guards with hypno-bullets and restraint nets barge their way in.
Researcher Adler, please evacuate immediately. We will take over from here.
Alright, Lou. Star, alright, we have...
Keep the sample.
14.
I admire your courage. A new hypothesis. Sharp pain. The benefits of field mapping. Cheer up. A good point. No other study could show you this.
Alright, I'm going to combine that. Rub.
A new hypothesis.
Another one of those. And I do healing right now. Let's drop some. Go to her extraction. Do it this way.
The benefits of field mapping.
Time to check my calculations. The final demonstration.
A good point.
It could be found. Welcome to the world of numbers.
Lots of attack damage this round. And then I'll set up next
No
round.
other study could show you this.
Intersect and divide.
Ultimate to finish him off.
Don't worry. An academic question. We share the same dream. Limited scale, infinite lines. Confirm the coordinates.
Victory? Okay, but what does it mean to us? I mean, what does it prove?
I thought the worst case would be that the ritual is useless since no one here can wield it. I was wrong. So terribly wrong. The reality is a million times worse. We have invited a disaster. It is a curse, even more unpredictable, unstable, and uncontrollable than the mask.
He grips his hair tightly, his voice hoarse as he shouts.
Dora crumbled to dust. Richard cracked like dry land, and Dawkins turned into a statue of mud. And Victor, he vanished. We've tried everything, but he's nowhere to be found. Yet he's here, typing, sending emails, getting the door for me. All of these catastrophic events, and only 3 words were uttered. 3.
He He shakes his head and laughs bitterly, not even in the mood for mockery after all that's happened.
What are we dealing with, Madame Lucy? Which deity are we provoking and stealing from?
No one can answer his question. The security guards are busy cleaning up the mess, while liaisons are frantically issuing warnings and confirming the extent of the casualties. The rehab center personnel have also arrived, and as they leave, their stretchers are filled with injured people. His supervisor finishes up a call and hangs up the phone on the wall.
Get some rest, Mr. Adler. Your mission is complete. Other researchers will take it from here.
You what?
He asks in disbelief, anger swelling in his chest.
Are you not going to call it off? After all that's happened?
The research must go on.
The robot's answer is concise and cold.
The authenticity of the incantation and the fact that any arcanist can recite it were revealed to us through this unexpected mishap. Now, a new question arises. How can we eliminate the side effects? From now on, we no longer require the help of human researchers.
Her tone is calm and gentle, yet with authority. The decision has been made.
Only Arcanum can lift a curse of Arcanum.
Curious.
37!
The eerie sounds continue to reverberate in the cave. 37 kneels on the transparent stairs, blood seeping from her mouth and nose.
Stay with me! I'll get you out!
The suitcase. The noises wouldn't reach her in there. It could be her refuge. 37 suddenly jerks. Slowly, an ornate scroll rises from her bosom.
Is this Six's scroll?
The strange noises begin to fade. In its place is an ancient melody.
+1, -1, +2, -3, 3, -3, +2, -1, +1. I see. I understand now.
What did you say? 37. Are you feeling better now?
She nods, having regained her clarity.
The numbers, Vertin. 6's scroll reconciled the gap between the supreme existence and me. I can now hear and understand. The answer to my question, the solution to free us from the emanation, the response Aperon promised me, is a string of numbers.
Okay? On the Storm Immunity Incantation Consent Form, if you're aware of the responsibilities and risks and still wish to participate in the Storm Immunity Spell Research Project, please read and sign below. Please note that if you refuse to sign after reading, you will be placed under surveillance until the research is completed due to confidentiality requirements. Warning: do not recite the following content in any non-experimental setting. Reciting the spell will cause random curses, therefore its distribution is forbidden. If you happen to recite this spell and remain conscious, please immediately stop moving, stay where you are, and try to perform actions that might indicate your continued existence until discovered by the post-incident handling team. The text of the incantation is as follows. Do not recite, do not disseminate. All these guys... The rolling boulder, the weight, hanging high above, finally falls. The rolling boulder. The winds died down. The cave is quiet again. The trial is over. As usual, the Star of Hermes has found her answer.
We got it. The key to the gate of truth. Apiron has answered me. This is the final solution.
I'm surprised she didn't find that answer earlier. She chirps with delight as the scroll completes its task and lands back in her hand.
We must leave here at once. We have to tell everyone.
I am so proud of you, 37. We will save everyone.
There is finally room to breathe, if only for a moment. Yet the feeling of unease remains.
There's one thing I don't understand.
And that is?
She pauses mid-step and looks back, tilting her head inquisitively.
6. His scroll saved your life. Maybe he foresaw the dangers and protected you from it, so you can leave there almost unharmed. But what was he trying to tell you when he warned you about the collapse of your world as you know it?
Maybe she'll find out afterward. The walk to the cleansing site is long. Only the sounds of dripping water and soft footsteps can be heard in the tunnel.
Mind your step, everyone. We are passing the wall of truth. The wall will come crashing down if false words are spoken. Silence is advised here, unless circumstances dictate otherwise.
The followers nod with respect. They have walked past the walls of silence, goodness, and wisdom, respectively as part of the ritual. Only those who embody these virtues can find safe passage to the final cleansing.
888?
The custodian suddenly stands up in front of the leader, blocking his path.
Forgive me, but this seems to be the right moment for some long-neglected questions to be answered.
As she speaks, a few others emerge from the crowd and surround 6. On the narrow pathway, there is no way to get around them.
Perhaps, but hardly appropriate or righteous.
We will talk of righteousness after you've shared what you know, 6. You've been silent for too long. 4 years have passed since you became 6, and for 4 years, you have been hiding things from us. The long-neglected questions have created a cloud of doubt between us. And now the boulder of fate is falling on us, and we are teetering on the brink of destruction. It's time to be honest and true to your people, while you still have them. We are the seekers of truth. It is unjust to keep us from it.
888 extends an arm, gesturing to the silent cavern walls that surround them.
Let the wall of truth bear witness. I want nothing but an answer from you. I am not here to provoke untimely conflicts.
The wall stands firm. The genuineness of her words is not to be doubted.
Answer her, 6. You should be glad that I am not the interrogator here, because the wall would have collapsed immediately.
The wall remains silent, seemingly confirming the rhetorician's mocking words as proof.
You may lie, but the wall will fall. You may stay silent, then I will lie to break the silence and the wall. Or maybe you could outwit the wall with the liar's paradox. Only sadly, I have tested it for you. One cannot deceive it by stating, I'm lying. After all, it's a test of morality, not logic. It needs your honesty, not your wit or anything else.
It's a delicate situation, one that requires precision. The leader remains composed.
What do you wish to know?
What else? The most important question, of course. The question about the essence.
210 takes a step his voice trembling, no longer as calm as he used to be. These questions have plagued his mind for far too long.
Why has our research stagnated for the past 4 years? Why did we fail to predict the emanation in 1929 and again in this time? Have we misunderstood the premise? What if the emanation is not a manifestation of the transcendental law at all?
6 remains stoic, showing no signs of emotion.
Worshippers worship, thinkers think, governors govern, and researchers research. Your questions are not mine to answer, 210. A 6 has no expertise on the study of the emanation. I'm not qualified to answer about its essence.
A truth is spoken, and the silent world attests to its veracity.
Your question is too abstract, 210.
The custodian shakes her head and takes a step closer.
Don't dance around the subject, 6. The wisdom has been passed on to you, as it has to every other 6. You have inherited not only knowledge and insight, but also the memories of your predecessors. You must know the answer, for it is part of your inheritance. Tell us this. The last leader of the study of the emanation, 77. What question did she bring to Apiron, and what answer did she receive?
There's no immediate response, confirming that she hit the nail on the head.
I watched her walk into the cave and come out unharmed. I watched her, and the previous 6 boarded the ship in search of answers in the phenomenal world. The ship didn't come back in time. The emanation caught them, and that was only the beginning of our misfortunes. The model failed. Our whereabouts were revealed. Hysteria now poisons the minds of our people, and the empirical knowledge accumulated over the years suddenly no longer applies to the current situation. Why? What did she find out? Could it be that something's happened to the transcendental law above? Has the truth we believed in changed?
Barraged with so many questions, he lets out a chuckle. He smiles with relief, like a prisoner finally receiving his death sentence after years of waiting. It has the opposite effect on the crowd. They hold their breaths into suspense.
Hippasus discovered the secrets of Route 2 and toppled Pythagoras' school of thought. The controversy surrounding Newton and infinitesimals presented a challenge to the groundwork of calculus. Russell's self-referential paradox sparked the third mathematical crisis. Though such theory was eventually perfected, the lessons on self-referentiality remained. In the end, Gödel's incompleteness theorems showed that proving or disproving everything is impossible. Therefore, absolute knowledge is unattainable.
His profound sentiments echo throughout the cave.
The boulder of fate will tumble down its peak, whether 37 is the one pushing it or not. However hard Oedipus tried to defy destiny, his path to tragedy remained unchanged.
You're talking in riddles again.
She furrows her brow. However, 6 gives her a small nod of respect.
I should thank you for bringing the question here, 888, so I may finally speak the truth. 77 did ask about the essence of the emanation.
He stands tall and looks around at the people. They're listening intently.
She asked, what happened to the supreme existence? What plunged the world into madness? The answer was disorder and chaos.
The wall of truth still stands. The trial left behind by the ancient sages confirms his words. A deep, ominous rumble comes from the center of the island. The tremors are like the island is being shaken to its core, like a tsunami and volcanic eruption combined.
You blasted!
210 is the first to come to a realization. He lunges and grabs 6 by the collar.
You knew this all along!
From the first day of your revelation, when you became 6, you knew that the emanation was not a manifestation of the transcendental law and patterns above, but rather a symptom of its utter disorder and chaos? And you knew that the transcendental realm of numbers was no more, and that the essence of Pneuma, the one true form we believed in, had become an ever-changing existence like the irrational numbers?
Rage threatens to consume him. The rhetorician glares at the leader, who has the audacity to confirm that their faith is shattered. He almost breaks into a bitter laugh. I find it weird that 210 is the one to get upset by this.
4 years. You kept this to yourself for 4 years. Why? Was it for a false sense of peace? To keep the island stable? Did you deceive us to prevent the realization that our research would be in vain?
6 does not answer the added inquiries, for they are not within his duty.
It's time to halt the bickering. Get everyone out of here now!
The custodian steps in and separates them with a stern look. She then turns and leads, and begins to lead the panicked crowd to safety. Amidst the chaos, the leader lowers his eyes and reads the verses prepared for the ceremony.
Pray to the gods for what you are about to do, and pray that all goes well. Once familiar with this practice, you will understand the constitution of both eternal gods and mortal men.
What happened? Did they not carry out the cleansing ceremony?
You will know the extent of all things, the boundaries of their entirety, and what connects them together.
Whoa! What's going on? An earthquake?
So, okay. So, when 37 was given this pattern, it destroyed not her conceptual world, but her physical world.
No! This is... the large-scale ritual on this island is... undoing itself?
You will see, as you should, that the nature of the universe flows in all things alike.
Why? Why is our circle gone?
The leader stands quiet and resolute like a rock by the sea, watching the fall of the heavenly transcendental beyond the tides of change wash over everything.
Thus, you will not hope for what is beyond your reach, and you will not be deceived.
He rolls up the scroll and ends his reading.
Pray, my friends. Pray for yourselves, and pray for everyone. Pray for all the suffering and misery around you. Reach into the unseeable darkness and pray to the unknowable Supreme. Speak your hopes, for you are a finite creature yearning to transcend its own existence. The determination that once helped us overcome our insignificance and touch the light of Pneuma should guide us once more.
In the darkness, he lights up a torch.
Where are you going?
To the cave. The trial is not over. The final cleansing is yet to come. There are still duties to fulfill.
He trudges forward. With his back to the fearful crowd, he sets off again, onto the lonely road, into the long night. Q&A.
Here is a well-known question you must have heard. What goes on 4 legs in the morning, 2 in the afternoon, and 3 in the evening? It's so well known that no one finds it novel anymore.
The answer is usually man. Man crawls on 4 legs when he's a baby, walks on 2 legs as they grow up and become an adult, and on 3 legs they carry a cane.
But please, do me a favor and answer me yourself.
Let's talk about the questioner instead.
The Sphinx, an embodiment of mercy and nobility in Egypt, was seen as a mystery to the Greeks, a dangerous being that kept secrets and delivered the punishments of the gods. When the question is answered, the ritual is finished, and the answerer is granted the right to reach the treasure it guards.
Ritual?
Yes, a ritual. Whether it is by pouring out wine, slaughtering a calf, or circling round a fire with a baby in your arms. It is an agreement, a question that demands an answer. Every desire has a price, whether it is paid in wine, blood, or fire. But sometimes that sacrifice is taken from you without it ever being noticed. And the treasure you seek might be the undoing of your own desires. Let us take a look at another question. Stranger, what's your name? Cried Polyphemus. Nobody, Odysseus answered. And it allowed him to flee the Cyclops cave, safe and sound. A human being and nobody. Two answers that could not be more alike, yet both were bound to fate by their answer. All right, dear, time to call it a day. As for you, you'll get the answers you seek. You've already paid the price.
And also, assistance record. Clear handwritten notes. The neat and forceful style reveals the writer's strong character. Walking on the beach with Marta. She's almost done with her tour of the island, collecting material for her travelogue. I accompany her, also to remind her to avoid the important areas we don't want to be exposed to the outside world. She is hoping for even more reading recommendations. Fine, I'll consult 2010 and Sophia. There are too many outsiders here. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but it makes management much more difficult. The leader's strategy isn't the best at the moment. We must make clear decisions. We need to show some self-determination. By repeatedly emphasizing our united will, faith will also be strengthened. Relying on anyone won't work, nor can we put all our hopes in one child and then sit back in satisfaction. It's impossible for the island to remain peaceful all the time. When it's necessary, it always falls to me to do something. She should have noticed the error. Or, well, I don't believe that a person like 77 would not check the course again and calculate the angles. Even if she is too tired, 37 is still on the island. Why didn't Hugh take his notebook with him? I saw it at Sophia's place. She left in such a hurry that even her reason for leaving seemed like an excuse. Could communicating with this supreme being really destroy a person's mind? This is all so strange. This guy talks a lot. Fortunately, he's also pretty useful. And surprisingly, he thinks the same way as me. I thought he was the one who agreed with most of the others. In fact, his speculations are closer to my own. If I become an assistant, I might be able to learn more. This position has been vacant for too long. A shield without a sword is ultimately unreliable. Now is the time. No matter what they say, I will apply. 2010 also believes that 77 has the answer. What will the answer bring? I need to get to the bottom of this. I am going to take a short break to get a drink, hydrate, and then I'll be back and we'll do another few of our missions. It's currently 10:30, I have a bit to go. Be right back. we're back. The party of beans. One, abstain from beans. 2, do not pick up what was fallen.
Where am I?
After a long period of darkness, clarity begins to dawn. Ahead lies a completely unfamiliar scene.
Did the earthquake do this? I was in the cave with 37. Is the timer broken?
Hey, Vertin! Here you are!
She looks freaky. What happened? A familiar shout is heard in the distance.
Yeah. Come! People are waiting! The feast is going to start.
Feast?
Yes! Today's the big day! We're celebrating because we kicked Manus Vindicte off the island, found the key to storm immunity, and saved the Numbers people from great disaster.
What?
But Regulus is already taken off.
Come on, Vertin! You'll miss out on the delicious honey-roasted rabbit.
She jumps forward excitedly, but something cracks loudly when she lands.
Wait, Regulus, you just kicked over something.
What? What is it? Something for the cattle? Whoever left this here nearly tripped this great captain.
No.
Forget it. Come, Vertin! What are you still doing there?
4, do not poke the fire with swords. 5, do not jump over a crossbow. The square is alive with joy and activity. The usual silence and seriousness have been replaced with a symphony of giggles and cheers. The aroma of roast rabbit is thick in the air. Barrels of wine are being rolled around and people are gathered, drinking and chatting merrily.
Ah, nice wine. Did you make it yourself?
Careful, Miss Lilia. Too much wine can corrupt one's body and will. Besides, you are already halfway through our stock for the year. But this drink you brought is pleasant to the nose. Coffee, you said. I have heard many things about it. Oh. Bitter.
Poor guy. I was expecting more from a man of your size.
She goes to a barrel to fill her cup.
For God's sake, Regulus, keep an eye on your first mate here. Wow, he's so out of it right now.
Not Apple.
It appears that this Apple's abstinence from the bottle will have to begin anew.
Vertin, finally! I was looking for you.
37 waves from a distance. Sophia at her side, arm in arm.
Hello, everyone. We have a big announcement to make. Sophia's just completed her proof and found her number.
Wings flap from above. 7. Do not enter the hall in new garments. Enter the hall from the right and leave from the left.
Don't worry about the swallows. They're going to fetch 6 for us. He's napping in the Hall of Aperon. An excuse to not join the party.
Not so fast with the announcement, 37. People will find out sooner or later. Thank you for helping us, Vertin. We wouldn't have made it without you. And I look forward to our continued collaboration with the Foundation.
No. None of this makes any sense.
9. Do not sleep on a grave. 10. Make the bed as soon as you wake up, leaving no imprints of your body.
Enough business. People are having a party here.
The pirate comes up with a platter of rabbits, smiling as if England has just won the World Cup.
Well, what do you say to this lovely captain who just picked up some food for you?
They clumsily collide, knocking over the tray and Regulus' sand.
My apologies, Regulus. I was too focused on linear regression formulas.
Quiet? Well, that sounds more like she's one of the Greek people. Now, they were focused on integers, and that would not be linear regression, I guess. Maybe.
That's alright. Wasn't me getting stuck in the kitchen roasting rabbits all day anyway. Unlimited supply of honeyed rabbits all day today!
Regulus picks up the dirty clay plate and puts it aside. Several of the other Storm Syndrome situations in the past involved food, so I wouldn't be surprised if this one does again.
I heard Sophia is making her announcement today. I'm curious which number she will be.
Care to wager on that? I'd say she's a multiple of 3.
Then I'd say she is a multiple of 139.
I have to admit, she has a good number. A number 100 times better than me. 6 and 210 put together.
Calculating. 37 plus 6 plus 210 times 100 equals 2.
Oh no. She is not 25,300. I doubt anyone could live with themselves with a number that long.
Rooster Crow. A rooster crows loudly in the festive atmosphere.
You haven't met before. This is a moo, my white rooster.
Okay. She kneels down and gently strokes its
This
feathers.
is
3. Do not touch a white rooster.
White rooster?
Cheers and shouts fill the air as people revel in jubilant euphoria. A Foundation employee picks up an ID from the ground. 2. Do not pick up what has fallen. And a parent-believer spits a log in half on the road, earning an enthusiastic applause from the crowd. Tables are filled with chickpea salad and meatless sliced bread, while people use their swords to poke fires to keep them from burning. Another thing that was warned against. One abstained from beans. The flames burn fiercely, casting no shadows on the ground.
Something's not right. None of this is right. Something's happened on the island. I must still be in the cave.
Returning anxiety fills the chest. The once joyful scene takes on a surreal form.
I have to get out of here.
All right. Defeat the Black Bean King. Clear the stage within 12 rounds. This looks like a boss if he's marked in red. Doesn't matter quite what team, we'll start with this one.
Who ate beans?
The Black Bean King is
Critters eating beans and a white rooster. These are supposed to be taboos on the island.
We'll do a setup this time and use this one to later.
Is this an illusion brought on by the fog? Or a new trial? No. Something's not right. The flow of arcane skills on the island has changed. I need to get rid of them first.
So, debuff.
Leave it to me.
Cast this.
A new hypothesis.
It could be found, given that power from the soil.
The benefits of field mapping.
Aha! Form is above all. Professional.
Push that over here. Let's take this buff onto.
I will remember your sacrifice.
A good point.
It could be found.
Sharp face. No other study could show you this.
Intersect and divide.
I need a shield yet.
A new hypothesis.
Just use that one to save it. Fire this one off.
A good point. The benefits of field mapping.
Are you a rational members?
Ian!
How troublesome.
We share the same dream.
An academic question.
Loaded. Leave it to me. To a brighter future for everyone.
I need to get used to saving up those incantations.
Limited scale, infinite lines. Confirm the coordinates.
Please cease resistance. In a second.
Certainly, we just fired out a ton of damage though. Alright, now I have a big healing up should I need it. Drop that one to 6, 37. I've up a wild card if I need it. Drop that on to 37.
A good point.
Oh, there's a bubble.
Alright, that was enough.
My surroundings changed. Is all this still an illusion?
The fieldwork went smooth. I look forward to our next cooperation.
Looks like the way we came, but it's a little different.
Reality exists at the intersection of shadows.
These signs, are they trying to take me somewhere? The way out, perhaps?
Jump. An ethereal scorn permeates the air. There is no option but to continue on. Everything is false. The distance to the sun can be calculated. All is but an illusionary projection.
Bertin! Where are you going? I made some coffee for those clever eggheads. Enough to mend their broken souls after turning their backs on it for half their lives. Fancy a cuppa as well? Here you go.
Regulus, it's a violation of their scripture. You mustn't consume any beans or bean-based products.
Oh, coffee beans.
Yeah, the great sacred scripture again. Hey, think you can just walk away from a pirate without breaking any rules? Let's see you try. Ha! Now you must have the beans. Or you can pick them all up.
According to their rules, I'm not to eat things off the ground, or pick them up for that matter. Though, this mountain of beans isn't going away by itself. Fortunately, it doesn't appear to be too stable.
An illusion of a coffee bean mountain like this is almost as cliché as a pirate with a hook for a hand.
Who are you?
Something like this could never hold up to skepticism. Mankind is slow in learning new ideas. They need new information to be explained in simple terms, using examples and analogies, or reduced to its most basic symbols and generalizations. Eventually, once they've gotten used to the formulas and outlines, they may just see below the surface and find the deeper essence waiting there. What about you? What do you think is your essence? Are you any more significant than a pile of coffee beans?
I passed.
Certainly, darling. In a way, we are all a reflection of our pasts. But is who we are a measure of our decisions? Or have our decisions been decided for us long before the moment happens?
I mean, a little bit of both.
We are led by our senses, as they in turn are led by our experiences, like puppets on a string. Our mind and soul can scarcely weigh in. Do people decide to put milk and sugar in their coffee for the taste? Or is it bitterness? That sharp sense on the tongue that tells them it must be sweetened? Do they even like coffee? Or is it a memory of needing it to make it through the day? Each decision we make coming from a tug on our hidden strings. Strings we cannot begin to grasp for ourselves. Only by taking out these saccharine sweeteners can we know what we're really drinking.
The words on the wall are aiming to confuse you. Ignore them and follow these notes.
Curtin! Where are you going? We're still in a meeting. You'll have to leave from the left.
But I came in from the left. Why would I leave the same way I came in?
Oh no! You've made a mistake. Now you must stay behind bars until you prove the four-color theorem. Be careful not to make another mistake, or you'll be thrown into the Gorgon current and confined there forever. You look worried. Don't be. We're friends. I will defend you in court.
Okay.
I will try my best to reduce your sentence to trisecting angles with an unmarked straight edge and a compass.
I have to leave, but not from the right. There must be a way to reverse left and right.
So then left or right can be reversed as easily as changing your frame of reference. How can we hold people responsible for their actions when we use such malleable definitions? We lead our lives according to these strict rules. Rules that are always changing definitions. It's too much for this old brain of mine. Why not simplify our definitions? To learn about the world like we were kids once more. Let's begin with math. Could it be as mutable as left and right? Could there be a hidden integer between 3 and 4? Is 1 always 1? Or is it just our frame of reference?
The truth endures.
But where is it then, this everlasting truth? Have you ever seen it? Have you basked in its radiance before? Maybe the shadows on the cave wall are our true reality. Maybe the sun is just another prop in our shadow theater. What if the people who chose to stay in the cave were the ones who were truly wise? Be careful what you hold to be true, darling.
Timekeeper, are you leaving the banquet? Perhaps we might go somewhere quiet. I wanted to speak with you about linear regression.
Terribly sorry, Sonato. I really must be leaving.
Wait! Perhaps a more impromptu debate? I have some fresh ideas about our past discussions. Could I trouble you to help me refine them? The storm is gone. We have time to enjoy life again. You don't have to keep checking your watch or your task list anymore.
But time still is against us, and I haven't any left to spare. Not even to explain myself to Sonetto. I hate to be rude, but I need a moment of peace. If only I could turn everything silent.
I said, if you are going to stick to your plan, then you must value your time wisely. Be
Interesting.
firm in your determination, but careful not to go too far.
Don't go too far.
Otherwise, your silence may be taken as a slight. And should they retaliate, what then? That's no peace, but a silent war. And peace will not return until one side concedes, even if they are blameless. Doesn't that seem unfair? Well, you've already mastered your most powerful weapon. I did warn you I'd retaliate in the same manner. Now we are square.
Oh, you're still here, Vertin. I thought you had disappeared completely. I was hoping I might talk to you about my number.
So sorry, but I really do have to leave now.
Please. I think you may be the only one that can help. It won't take you long.
Alright, that's 6 on the left. She's the new 6?
6. A perfect number. But it isn't my number. Let's try again. Reset the calculation for me. Put an asterisk and 0 and we can continue.
Divided by 3 is 34. Let's see. Five 36. 7.
No, that can't be my number either. It's far too brilliant for me. Please reset the calculation back to 0.
See. 5 times 7 is 35. 35 times 3 is 5? Yes. 105 times 2 is 2010. Of course.
$210. I know 37. Let's try it one more time. I have a feeling that together we can find the...
string of irrational numbers. I think I ought to reset this. Enter 0.
Who am I? An old question. It can't be as simple as your name. A name, after all, is only worth what meaning we give it. Bewildered by their own existence, man turns to the ultimate truth for answers. But soon enough, they come to see the truth is also beyond their ability to comprehend. That is when the fear catches up with them. So they put aside their search for truth and look for something more straightforward. A simple answer. Enough to satisfy a frightened child, caught between a comforting lie and something more frightening than the truth. That might be no truth at all. And if that is so, how can we know who we are really?
I am who I am.
Very good. Perhaps the truth lies hidden in the question. Hold tight to that answer, darling. A bit of elderly advice. There is no greater treasure. One day you might be amused by this idea. When you see yourself from someone else's eyes.
Triangle, rectangle, circle, square, triangle, and the door.
First is the circle, second is the square.
"37? Is that you?"
The little girl does not seem to be listening. She's completely absorbed in building her castle.
Put the triangle on the triangle, and the rectangle on the rectangle. Perfect! As things should be.
The emanation? Disorder and chaos. This can't be. This isn't right. How ugly. How inelegant. How could this be the revelation from the patterns of the transcendental law above? How could such a terrible answer fall on my ears? I can't tell the others about this. There must be a mistake. I need proof. I have to go out there.
Vertin, my child. Are you here to partake in sand play as well? No matter how oft we arrange them, the sight of them never grows stale. Alas, I shall destroy it.
Consciousness is snapped back to reality. The surroundings have reverted to the rocky walls, still enclosed within the cave. 37 stands with her head tilted, looking curious.
I think I had a terrible dream.
What did you dream?
Regulus claimed Six's throne and declared this the rock and roll empire of irrational numbers. She took out a jar of coffee beans and stuffed one into my mouth.
37 shakes her head hard, as if trying to rid her mind of the horrific scene.
I'm relieved that I woke up in time, and you as well. Let's go, Vertin. We need to tell everyone the numbers.
She chirps, her face lighting up with delight, finally free from the lung. A beam of daylight appears before them. A lengthy trial has finally come to an end.
Do you hear that? So many people out there. Must be Sophia here to pick me up. I told her she can wait for me outside. Sophia!
The girl runs happily towards the light, like a young swallow swooping out of sight.
Wait, 37!
Got to catch up. Got to leave this place at once. Must share the findings here with the others. Finally, the light of day comes into view. A gust of wind suddenly rushes by, sending pebbles scattering across the ground. The all too familiar stench of sulfur fills the air. It is unmistakably the smoke of war.
What?
Unfinished tune. Oh. Okay. Read it. Bang. In the distance, something falls. The cup drains the wine. Tired eyes dry out the sun. Someone clings to the remaining days. The body speaks to its guests. Who builds also uses the same hand to destroy, to peel open the rock walls. The scar is a perfect circle, a death tied with a knot, thus the end. The wave of art. And it looks like... Oh, I've got a couple more. But we're getting to the end. Maybe this will be the last. At least for tonight. Military Station, 1914.
Mom! When will they give us the order to attack?
Sounds like they're from Xeno, the Russian-type people.
What's taking so long? The island is just across the bay. We have men, weapons, supplies, everything. Just give us order and we will take to shore. Check out these bad boys. Anti-Arcanum weapons courtesy of the American from that Walden place. That creep just doesn't sit right with me. He's got that Arcanus stink about him.
Maybe they're not Xeno.
But his technology is solid and we needed it. We've got to get ahead of the Serbs and the Greeks.
This army has been stationed for a long time, perhaps too long. The soldiers, stranded and demoralized by their failed landing, face days of uncertainty without orders while politicians bicker. They are left to heat their food meal by meal, watching their chances slip away.
Relax, Georgie. Leave the decisions to the big shots. I'm sure they'll just hug out the differences in the meeting room or something. Besides, you saw the monsters on that island. Can't speak for everyone here, but I don't want to die.
Screw the negotiations! Screw the committee! Like it or not, we were the first ones to find the island, not the Austrians or the Germans.
He grumbles and picks up the monocular back up, straining to catch another glimpse of the island across the waters. The sea is tranquil, as it is often this time of year. The water sparkles under the golden sun, stretching to the horizon without an island in sight.
Damn, those Arcanists have gone into hiding again. I swear I could see it from here yesterday.
He blinks, unsure if his eyes are tricking him.
Are those bird-like creatures? Leaving in droves?
His words barely catch anyone's attention. A new poker game is underway on the supply crate. A radio, a couple of beers, and a game of poker. A rare moment of enjoyment. Who could ask for more?
Georgie, brother, leave them be! Come, play with us, George!
The soldier does not seem to hear his name. He grips the monocular tightly, his mouth
What a good
contorting as he
opportunity
mutters.
this is. It's too good to pass up. We've got to act now.
A drop of vibrant paint slides down his cheek and lands on the ground with a splatter.
We will claim what is ours. This island belongs to us. It's in our territory and we were the first to find it. Why shouldn't it be ours?
The card players pause, gawking at the paint sliding down each other's faces, unaware that their own faces are melting as well. In the silence, the only sound that fills the air is the static of
The
the radio.
Austro-Hungarian Empire has officially declared war on Serbia. Russia is mobilizing in support of Serbia. Germany demands Russia to stop mobilizing at once. Germany is mobilizing. France is mobilizing.
The street has turned into a canvas of mesmerizing hues. The colorful paints swirl and burst, creating one spiral after another. It's almost like the stage of a set of a twisted carnival.
Father! Mother! Open the door! It's important! You have to listen to me!
She pounds on the door, but as soon as she makes contact, the door softens and melts like butter. She trips through the door, but quickly recoils at the horror inside. The art and specimens, once delicate and exquisite, now resemble a jumble of spilled paint.
No, this can't be. Albert?
Still with a glimmer of hope, she carefully calls out to her brother.
Clara, it's odd to see you so flustered. What's the matter?
The familiar voice brings
I'm
immense
headed to the
relief her
business
heart.
school. We'll talk when I get back.
Albert picks up the hat and adjusts the brim. The pin on the hat, Vingler's shop, shimmers in the dark, dim light. Thank goodness, he seems to be fine. He's still the reliable brother she remembers, the family's pride in his sharp three-piece suit.
Business school? But didn't you swear to never go back? Ever since your human classmate shot your arm in a duel. Wait, what happened to your arm?
He turns around and Kikania can finally see. Half of his suit is covered in colors, paint trailing down his face and pulling at his feet. An arm of flowing colors is attached to his body, like a mismatched puzzle piece.
Oh, Ethan. Yes, he wounded me. He had to prove his standing to the Brotherhood. There was no other way, but that's in the past. He gave me his arm, so now we're even.
He raises his left hand to show her the blade. Streaks of blood are still on it. He casually tosses it aside, letting it clatter in the darkness and disappear into the swirls of colors. Albert grabs his walking stick, his new arm dangling lifelessly at his side.
I have to go. I have to find Johnson, Raymond, and Herbert. That little rascal pushed Ilsa into the fountain. We have a score to settle. Take care, Clara.
He strides past her and has a carrot, trying
No! Albert! Don't go!
She runs to stop the carriage, but it is unaffected by her efforts, like everything else in this place. A set of footsteps approach from behind.
The storm syndrome is spreading, Doctor. Stay any longer, you'll be infected too. Please, leave with me.
The trembling ground interrupts her. A mob with distorted faces swarms through the streets, chanting slogans and singing in their own tongue. White pro-war pamphlets litter the ground like snowflakes absorbed into a mire of effervescent paint. The city is bursting with unrelenting energy, like a speeding chariot or a twirling powder keg.
The Seinfeld in the parade. Is that... Oh... I just met her at the coffee house last week. We were talking about her wedding.
Watch out, Doctor!
The sign crashes to the ground beside them. Rage-filled citizens are tearing the streets apart. Even the handles of roadside benches are yanked off and made a weapon. The fervent protest consumes all who come across it, forcing them to participate with no option to decline.
This is bad. They have lost their minds. This way, Doctor. We have to get out of here.
with us, comrades.
Okay, so 6 is mental. Windsong is, or 37 is mental. Windsong is mental. This is the best team for Violet, probably. Put that back away.
Hello, could be found. Time to check my calculation. Oh, there's a bubble.
Chin up, don't touch the device.
I will remember your sacrifice. We share the same dream.
A good point.
Sharp fangs. To a brighter future for everyone.
Taking another look.
Don't worry.
Oh, troublesome.
This over here.
A new hypothesis.
And if I get rid of this, that'll merge some of the songs together.
No other study could show you this.
Intersect and divide.
Annihilated. Strength of the song. Great, the song's gone.
I will remember your sacrifice.
Give this to...
I admire your courage.
She's about to cast her ultimate. You can take that again.
An academic question.
And this, hey, just get some more meter.
I will remember your sacrifice.
Heart scale. Limited scale, infinite lines.
Nice.
Calculating distance.
For the good of all.
Almost took all three of them. The other two pop up. Okay.
The final demonstration.
A new hypothesis.
The final demonstration.
A good point.
The final demonstration.
A new hypothesis.
Welcome to the world of numbers.
Taking another look.
Oh, troublesome.
I admire your courage.
A good point.
For you and for us.
The benefits of field mapping.
Are you a rational number?
Plenty of damage.
We worked on this collaboration together. I'll write you.
This way, Doctor. We have to go back to your clinic. The Special Operations Squad will meet us there.
The young investigator holds the doctor's hand, determined to do her duty. But the doctor halts her steps and drops her head, looking dejected.
Marcus, you once said that there was another way to make things right. And then you did your part, as I did mine. But now, after all that's happened. Please tell me, what's the point of us trying? Will we save them in time? Is there any chance that we can turn things around?
She struggles to hold back a sob. The roaring crowd fades into the distance, and the ring road of yesterday is now but a distant memory, never to be relieved, never to be relived.
The ritual you acquired, the one you said could save everyone. Is it working now?
Let me in.
The floor in Lopas's corridor has lost its clean silvery sheen. Dawkins and his slobbering mud certainly played a role in the destruction. The guards used every cleaning orb in their inventory to restore even a hint of its original glory. A pair of angry feet stomp across the floor, ignoring their colleagues' attempts to stop them. Enigma adds more muddy footprints without hesitation.
I have just one question. Why hasn't the project stopped yet?
His outcry elicits a reaction. The door to the director's office swings open, and an angry figure storms out.
Adler Hoffman, you have been removed from the team. You're not authorized to be here. You have violated
the LSCC safety management regulations? I brought them with me. You're welcome.
He throws the hefty manual right into his former leader's face.
If you cared about the regulations as much as you claim, you'd know that none of what's happening aligns with its guidelines. Even the head of Laplace has no authority to continue the experiment under these circumstances.
Before he can continue, his ex-leader sharply cuts him off.
Get out of my face, Adler. I don't have time for this. We're in a state of war. Every participant has signed an informed consent form. If you are not part of this project, please leave immediately. We only have 18 hours until the storm. This is it. The first time we've made such a breakthrough in all 9 storms. Your sister gave up her life to take us this far. I hope you don't need me to remind you that.
Adler Hoffman is abruptly silent. A fiery rage ignites in his hazel eyes. A deafening void engulfs the space as Ulrich realizes his verbal blunder.
Yes, she made the ultimate sacrifice, hoping that it would lead to a breakthrough. But instead, death continues to rise. How can you let this go on?
He charges ahead, shoving Ulrich aside with his elbow. Ulrich's head slams against the wall, ferrofluids shifting erratically inside.
I demand to know why the experiment is still going!
He starts working on the padlock on the door. Nothing's going to stop him from breaking through today. The alarm goes off. Ulrich struggles to his feet against the wall, a hand up to his head.
Don't we have enough crazies around here? Madame Lucy has important things to do. She has no time for you. Go cry to your therapist, human.
Important? What could be possibly more important than this right now? What happened to the humanitarian ideals of the Foundation? Are we now under the tyranny of machines? What's this important thing she's got to do? Reading the paper? Sipping on oil and charging up in a 230-volt bath?
He cracks through the coat, pushing Ulrich's arms aside and able to force his way into the room. The room is completely dark. A piston spins at his feet.
Is that you, Adler? Welcome.
What? She trying to do it herself as a machine? Maybe invulnerable to the incantation?
Oh, look at this mirror, dear. There's a sizable stain on it.
I don't see any stains.
Look closer, dear. You can no longer see the part that has broken off, but you can see where it once was. Right there. A sizable stain. The owner thought the stain would be removed if she smashed the mirror. Now she has a collection of little mirrors, and the stain has gone into hiding.
Whose mirror is this?
A lady with great ambitions and an unconscious charm. A lady who wishes to make the rest of the world accept who she is, and has suggested that many others join her way of thinking. Her brother, on the contrary, hopes to be taken in. In his attempt to act like everyone else, he lost an arm in a duel.
Oh, are we talking about Kikania?
If you ask me, dear, I'd say they're very alike. Equally lonely. The brother and sister are a mirror image of each other. She's often repulsed by the sight of him, unable to reconcile herself with all that he reminds her of. Now the brother has found his missing arm, along with his long-lost dignity. The surgery that the sister had been hoping would be done on this world has finally started. But all of a sudden, she's terrified of the incisions. As I said, despite their differences in approach, the brother and sister are mirror images of one another. But now the mirror is broken. I hope she can make it through the 7 years of bad luck. Poor thing. There's no way around it.
Sandstorm in a room. The piston rotates on the floor like a toy top.
I am not in a suitable form to receive a guest. Simone, can you put me back in my body?
Her assistant rushes over and puts her into a robot body.
I feel much better. Thank you.
Oh man, with the face, it's wild.
Oh, you have even put on a face for me. How sweet of you. I have noticed your icy gaze, Researcher Adler. You are yearning to correct the logic of this place. Well, I only said that to Simone out of courtesy. In reality, whichever body I am put into makes no difference to me.
Her ill-timed explanation annoys him even more.
The experiment, ma'am. Why hasn't it stopped? Are you going to pretend that nothing's happened? That no one died? Could it be that you and Ulrich, the awakened, being the tin cans you are, have no regard for actual lives?
Adler Hoffman, I will not warn you again.
Ulrich storms back into the room with 2 guards ready to throw him out at any moment.
Relax, Adler. You are led by a biased opinion because you lack critical information. A common defect in all cognitive processes. I believe you will shift to a more rational perspective once you receive sufficient information on the subject.
A more rational perspective?
The human, known for his logical thinking, responds with an overwhelming amount of feeling.
We are humans, not machines. We are not expendable parts. I have plenty of reasons to question your decisions. Your excessive insistence on this experiment could be a sign of uncontrollable behavior, a trait commonly seen in arcanists.
The experiment has been cancelled everywhere, except for this very room.
What?
The robot flashes a smile, as if anticipating the man to be pleased with her response.
As you and Researcher Medicine Pocket have said, the ritual is beyond the limits of almost everyone here. The side effects will kill them before the ritual can even take effect. The first wave was inevitable. Dora had pressed send before she disintegrated. We only managed to halt the subsequent transmissions and evacuate the unaffiliated staff. We kept only a few arcanists on the team, and each has signed the consent form.
Mutual consent. That bloody form again.
Forgive me, ma'am, but I have to use your argument against you. You too are guided by a biased opinion. An overly optimistic one. Because you have failed to properly assess the risks involved. We have suffered enough misfortunes just by uttering a few syllables of the incantation. We've talked about the limit of things before. You should know better and ask the rest of the team to quit the experiment. Your insistence will only bring calamity upon calamity on our people for nothing.
The researcher fights to stay calm, reiterating his views he had already shouted in the hallway. Ulrich begins his retort, but the director simply nods in agreement.
You might be right, but how is being right going to help us?
Huh?
She grins, trying for a warm, gentle smile, but it comes across as anything but. Enigma despised that face. Every time she tried to show a hint of humanity, it only served to highlight how different she was from everyone else.
You spoke of the limit, and I am surprised that it is you who brought it up.
Enigma pauses for a second, not sure if she's being sarcastic.
The physical appearance of humans has remained relatively unchanged since the Neolithic era, but their thoughts and civilization continued to evolve and underwent significant transformations. The achievements that humanity enjoys today were not given to the species by any one person with godlike powers, but were the result of the collective efforts of all human beings. Limits and boundaries must be pushed, or there would never have been room for development. There is no reason to believe that the limit cannot be challenged, especially when we already have the tools to do so. We must make progress happen.
Grandiose lies.
Lies?
Oh crap. He forgot all about her excellent hearing.
We have no choice but to go beyond that limit. If we do not break away from the storm, there is no future for us, let alone progress. We need to first determine all the side effects as a priority. This important step will help us compile data and eliminate the effects so our colleagues can use the ritual safely.
And who will try it this time, Madam Lucy? You're not going to test the side effects as the cost of lives, are you?
No. Thanks to Ulrich, we stumbled upon a breakthrough. You are right. It is time to send the other Arcanists home. Only the Awakened are needed here.
The Awakened?
Tungsten wires glow faintly red in the dark. Then the room is lit.
The power is back, Mom. We are ready to resume.
It will take time to properly explain. Please wait, Adler. We have yet to reach an agreement.
What? Are you experimenting? Here?
Ignoring his surprise, Lucy sits down on the iron bench. Wires of various sizes are attached to her body. The instrument comes to life to the piston's rhythm, faithfully recording every change in the robot. From her slightest movements to arcane fluctuations, nothing goes unnoticed.
La Unwa.
Wait, she's...
Frozen in place by the scene, he looks around the room in disbelief.
She's read the reports, right? She was there when Dora broke into pieces.
Rarely does her back curl up like this. The usual cheerful expression on her face has changed to one of unease, suggesting that something is amiss. A hunk of metal should not feel pain. They have no flesh, no nerves. But if she is in agony, what could be the cause of such torment? Will she break apart too, like those people? The ominous curse has set its sights on its prey. It washes almost like a Zeus on a mountaintop, ready to unleash lightning on the mortals who dare to steal fire. No, Simone,
No.
I
cannot continue.
The most primal, instinctual fear. This is the first time he's ever heard her emotions pour out so raw.
You fools! Don't just stand there! Stop her! Now!
Panic and horror twist in his stomach. He has an irresistible urge to rip out the wires and put an end to her torture.
Who's going to lead us if she also turns into a pile of scraps?
Stay where you are, Enigma.
Ulrich's voice, full of animosity, comes from behind.
You insisted on being here. You demanded to see this. Don't bring your pathetic, narrow-minded humanitarian values in here and tell us what to do. What do you know about us?
Simone leans over to her. She speaks softly.
You can do it, madam. This is just part of the established procedures. Just a few more syllables, madam, and it will be over.
established procedures.
Fear ebbs away a little as she repeats those
I
words.
like that.
Her eyes close. She forces out the last word with great determination.
Clo.
It is done. A clear, accurate, impeccable read. Right at that moment, the lights in the lab go out.
Was that all, Simone?
Yes.
No one can see her face in the darkness, but Enigma believes it to be a smile.
Good.
A gust of sand rises in the room. Without warning and out of nowhere, it screams through the enclosed darkness. The raging storm engulfs the robot's cold metal body, carrying her away with great force. Then when the sand subsides, all that remains is an old piston clattering to the ground. Clang. Start. A deathly silence. Until Enigma stumbles back, nearly falling over another person in the room.
She's dead.
The piston lies motionless on the ground, as lifeless as any other object.
This is what you wanted to show me?
His heart pounds in his ears as he pants, fists clenched and slick with sweat.
To watch her utter a curse that's always brought death, only to die in vain? And you just let it happen?
Ulrich looks at him, his voice poised and steady.
Calm down.
Calm down. She's dead right there. You murderer.
We have already repeated this experiment many times.
Enigma is in disbelief.
Many times? What? You've sent people to their deaths over and over again?
The ferro fluid flows again, forming a shape that Enigma can only interpret as disdain.
Look at you, Adler, peeing your pants over a curse. The human boy is so scared that he forgot to ask the crucial question. Did the ritual work?
But what do you mean? The curse. The side effects killed her. The experiment failed. Is that not what happened?
No. Triggering the curse and failure are two separate things. I was the first one to recite the incantation, way before Dora. When I read it aloud, it worked. I felt the warmth of a miraculous blessing on my head. Soft. Light as a feather. I told Madame Lucy right away. But as soon as she left the room, the curse hit me, and I began to liquefy. There was no one else in the room. My liquid form had become too insubstantial to push the help button. A long darkness followed. After that, I woke up again in my original primitive form. The way I first came into this world.
Which is why they turn into clay.
Original primitive form?
Unlike humans, the awakened have neither flesh nor nerves. We are pieces of consciousness, echoes of a primordial melody that just happen to reside in material objects by chance. With a mind and a body combined, we could talk, learn, think like you do, and perform the experiment and endure the side effects. And this curse, for some reason, cannot affect the primal consciousness that caused our awakening in the first place. While human minds dissipate when their tangible bodies are destroyed, our minds reawaken regardless of the changes and destruction of our external bodies. Of course, This was an assumption based on idealized circumstances, and I needed another awakened being who could awaken in different bodies to confirm my theory. That is why I sought out Madame Lucy for cross-verification. The results?
Yes, it was an assumption! You said it yourself! You came back to life this time! But what about the next? Nothing is for sure in Arcanum. What if she never wakes up again? What if she dies for good?
He swats Enigma's hand away.
We know what we are doing, human. Stay out of this. Only the awakened can carry out the experiment. So we must proceed. This has nothing to do with race. It is a sense of duty that every researcher should have possessed when they chose this path. We have to go beyond the limit. Not out of madness, but out of rationality.
Silence fills the room, like the beginning of time when there was no sound to be heard. Then slowly the piston starts to spin.
We seem to have replicated effect number 2. And 117 of the Coleman Lab's protective rituals were proven ineffective. Write it down, Simone. This is the 4th time we have seen it. Also, number 45 and 69 are related to it. We need to speed up. This is too slow.
The lights are back on again, and the piston is placed into a new body. Being prepared for all possible outcomes requires a significant amount of metal material, but it is essential for data collection and analysis. With a soft hum, the robot turns her head and looks at Enigma, surprised.
Adler, what are you doing here? I am glad to see you out of your room and working with us again.
No, he's not on the team, Mum. He forced his way in here.
Oh? My apologies. I seem to lose a small amount of data when I reawaken.
She smiles at him, as she always does.
Still, I am glad that you are showing initiative, Adler. Were we supposed to talk?
No. We have nothing more to discuss, ma'am. Ulrich has filled me in on everything, but I still worry whether the experiment's risks were properly assessed.
Assessments will only be assessments. Much is beyond measure when it comes to Arcanum. Perhaps faith plays a more important role here.
Enigma is caught off guard by her words.
I'm surprised it is you talking about faith, ma'am.
It seems we both have the ability to surprise each other.
As they speak, the robot strolls over to her chair and sits back
You
down.
are right. Assessments could indeed be useful to us. It allows us to know the probabilities of success and failure based on established facts and past experience. But when we find ourselves in uncharted darkness, with no information or past experience to guide us, how are assessments going to help us?
She ponders and stares into the void. Perhaps the experiment did fry some circuits. She's more sentimental than
The
usual.
only thing we have in such darkness is the unwavering faith to move forward. When the first steam engine whistled, I awoke into this world. At the beginning of this new life, my circuits were charged with a singular primal desire to progress. In the midst of that never-ending whistle, I have watched man build the towers of science and knowledge, and I have watched them unleash chaos and destruction. You too have been lost and deterred, but your engines of progress have never stopped churning. Always move forward, no matter the destination you told yourselves. Until the storm brought everything to a standstill. But this is just a small setback. We are only back to the beginning where we stumble blindly. And this time, I happen to have a cane.
She gives him a tender smile.
No need to worry about me. I will not shut down as long as there is still hope for progress. We have wasted a bit of time on data recovery. Come, Simone. Let us begin the next experiment. I hope to dissolve into paste this time, so we can easily handle it with a Coleman's ritual of transformation.
The human researcher knows that it'd be inappropriate for him to stay here any longer. Gritting his teeth, he moves toward the door, trying his best to leave the horrific scene behind him. Someone is waiting for him by the door.
Seen enough? We know what we are doing, and you are of no help here. It's been the same old story in this place for the past 8 years. When your faith crumbled during the storm, it was us who took over the place and cleaned up after you. It was us who got things back up and running, put coals in the hearth, and blazed a trail when everyone was lost in the dark. I know you may not understand the intricacies of the Arcanum, but please, show some basic respect for our efforts.
Will you do the experiments yourself, Ulrich?
Of course. I am not some emotional, unhelpful little punk.
Instead of his usual witty comeback, Enigma simply shakes his head in a slow motion.
Do you still remember Adams?
A sudden question that seems out of place. The fair fluid quivers. The name seems to unearth memories that have been buried for 8 long years in the confines of this institution.
Adams. Roman. Adolf. Sylvia. Albert. Louise. Those who were taken from us by the rain. Melvin. Francis. Caroline. Leopold. They volunteered for the field, but we never heard from them again. Now we have Dora, Richard, Dawkins, and Victor on the list. Life has a wicked sense of humor. My mentor, my classmates, my colleagues. Each of them deserved to live more than me. But they're all gone now. There's only me talking to you. Alive. Useless. Am I going to see your names on that list too, Ulrich?
In this rare moment, he lowers his head, but soon he raises his arms and slaps the man hard on the back.
Spare me the feelings, human. Though I will take back my sarcastic jabs at you, it is not something a leader should do. Madame Lucy talked to me about the importance of teamwork.
He awkwardly pats the human on the shoulder, a clumsy attempt at friendliness.
Go back to your room, Adler. The Arcanists will take over from here. Until we get the results, you won't be needed here.
Enigma heaves a breath.
I will say this, Ulrich. If you survive the experiments...
Alarmed by the opening words, Ulrich instinctively turns down his receiver to avoid hearing anything too warm. That would be more painful than suffering through 100 experimental side effects.
I will submit the sincerest application to never be on the same team as you again. So neither of us will have to worry about teamwork. How's that sound?
A curve that almost resembles a smile appears on his face.
I will wait for that application, Adler.
Now, roll up your sleeves and clear your mind. This is not the time to grieve. If human reasoning and arcane knowledge are not enough on their own, perhaps a combination of the two can solve this problem. The lab door is in shambles, its metal plate barely hanging on. A wooden sign says, reading "Keep Out," sways precariously, covered in bite marks and scratches. Enigma takes a moment before finally knocking on the door. A voice answers from within.
Who's there?
Adler Hoffman from the cryptography team. Is Medicine Pocket in? I heard that they wrote a paper on the linear correlation between the purity of an Arcanist bloodline and their power. Can I get some more details on the research?
The door creaks open to reveal a youthful face, but she is not the genius he is looking for. The lab technician looks at him through her glasses and hesitates a little.
The paper is here. Help yourself. Sorry about the stains on it. I just took it out of the trash. If you're looking for Medicine Pocket, I'm afraid they just left.
Left? To where?
There is a subtle conflict on her face. She is torn between covering for her colleague and following the rules. It is more than enough for him to catch on.
They left the building? Hasn't the countdown already begun?
Yes, and by regulations we are not to leave. But, they said their new theory had to be verified in the storm.
Medicine Pocket's a little crazy. And... Side Effect Defense Research Progress Report. Number 3 is immediate death, no other symptoms. 7 is soluble in soil. 14 is hair modification. Dispersion of consciousness. Fluid allergy. Persistent severe dehydration. Proportional body shrinkage. Embrittlement of the whole body. Unstoppable and irreversible. Avoid the ground and wear special footwear. Shave head and observe further. Call out loud. Maintain a dry environment. Control water intake. Continuous infusion. Administer care as per the lab's test animal standards. Apply a solidifying spell or wrapping cotton. Almost done. Maybe we can... Nope. Not enough. Stop here. Almost done. Maybe we'll do it with another stream.
The soil has become crumbly, aerated, suitable for plantation, and conducive for the dry body to regenerate.
Uni Skyward Extraction. I don't know that one.
Everyone here gnashes their teeth and covers their mouth with their hands.
Let's see.
Come on. Today is not a revenge day.
Oh, that looks cute.
But here we shine, Horde. They're right over here. See? But taking a guess on the fact that some stuff, isn't, like, here, that means I gotta go to other islands. Like, these two flowers here are probably... I'm gonna take a wild guess and say that those